Today in the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on August 7th, 2024, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. Disneyland adding and then subtracting apparent Easter eggs from Haunted Mansion Holiday, Deadpool's arrival at Disney California Adventure, Disney Destiny updates, and more.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
In the last House of Mouse headlines, we reported that union Disneyland cast members had authorized a strike while discussions were ongoing. Well, in some good news, those discussions resulted in a tentative deal, and now cast members have voted to ratify new 3-year contracts. These contracts cover more than 14,000 cast members at the Disneyland Resort and include such provisions as a new minimum base wage rate of $24 in 2024, increasing to $26 per hour over the length of the contract. Cast members represented by the Master Services Council will also receive retroactive pay from June 17, 2024. The Earl of Sandwich saga continued at the Disneyland Resort last week as the new pop-up location is now open near the Star Wars Trading Post and former ESPN zone, or put another way, near the quick service favorite's previous location before it moved to the other side of downtown Disney following the closing of La Brea Bakery. In any case, this pop-up location will remain as a new permanent 2-story Earl of Sandwich location is constructed. Meanwhile, Porto's Bakery will move in near the Esplanade. No opening timeframe for either location has currently been announced. The Disneyland Resort has announced a fun seasonal offering featuring favorite characters in appropriate seasonal attire with the new Mickey's Autumn Adventures. Starting on September 3rd, guests can get into the fall spirit with a new dining experience at Storyteller's Cafe, located at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa. This offering will allow guests to start their day with Mickey Mouse and some of his closest pals as they enjoy a buffet breakfast adventure. Mickey's Autumn Adventure takes place for brunch as well. Reservations for this new dining experience are now open, and reservations for Goofy's Kitchen Celebrates Halloween, coming to the Disneyland Hotel, are set to open in the near future. 2 new dastardly baddies are heading to Disneyland Resort's Oogie Boogie Bash for 2024. As is tradition for the yearly Halloween event at Disney California Adventure, a vague Instagram reel has teased 2 new villains heading to this year's event. Hades, the god of the underworld, gets top billing with a Grecian vase, or is it vase, leading into a fiery blaze on display in the reel. As for the second character, a board of random switches and pulls, a hat that peeks out from behind the consoles, and the white lab coat suggests that Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb will be joining the fun at Oogie Boogie Bash. While these teases seem pretty clear, Disney has not officially confirmed these guesses at the time of this recording. Sadly, if you don't have tickets for Oogie Boogie Bash already, you're out of luck as they are sold out. Themes and details have been released for Run Disney's 2025 Springtime Surprise Weekend at Walt Disney World Resort. Next year's race series will celebrate a variety of heroes, with Groot featured on the 5K artwork, Hercules taking center stage for the 10K, Mrs. Incredible stretching across the 10-miler poster, and Armored Baymax appearing on the Springtime Surprise Challenge art. The weekend will also include Disney Heroes Yoga and Springtime Surprise Splash events to relax and celebrate. Club Run Disney Gold and Platinum members registration for the 2025 Springtime Surprise Weekend event opens on August 20th, with general registration following on August 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern. A new lighting setup has debuted on the already gorgeous Sleeping Beauty Castle in Disneyland Paris. The design and delivery teams at the resort added all new LED spotlights, now totaling more than 200, to create a 360-degree lighting setup. The design is inspired by the park's original lighting, found through archival images. A subtle nod to flora, fauna, and Merryweather's fight over Aurora's dress has also made its way into the new lighting. It's just one more thing to check out on your visit to Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris is once again getting ready to celebrate World Princess Week. This year, a brand new show starring Aurora, Jasmine, Ariel, and Tiana called Live Your Story, a Disney Princess Celebration, will perform in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. Elsewhere, Minnie Mouse will have a new outfit just for this special occasion. Of course, there will also be delicious special treats available throughout the resort, including Rapunzel's best shake ever. These offerings will be available during World Princess Week, taking place August 25th through August 31st. One of Disney's newest ships has reached a major milestone. This week at Meyer Werft Shipyard, the Disney Treasure floated out of the building to dock into the shipyard harbor. Float-out celebrations mark the completion of the ship's exterior and are a significant maritime tradition. The ship is now ready for finishing touches to its interior venues as it continues to prepare for its transatlantic journey to its future home port in Florida. The Disney Treasure's maiden voyage, a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Port Canaveral, will set sail on December 21st, 2024. Disney Cruise Line has revealed several pieces of news about another one of its new ships, the Disney Destiny. First, on the hero side of things, it was announced that a Lion King-themed restaurant, as well as an Edna Mode-inspired sweet shop, would be present on the ship. Additionally, in the Grand Hall, guests will find a statue of T'Challa, the Black Panther, along with decor inspired by Wakanda. On the exterior, for the first time, a Marvel character will be featured on the stern, as guests will spot Spider-Man webbing some spider bots. On some more villainous notes, lounges themed to both Cruella de Vil and Pirates of the Caribbean will be available on the ship. A new Aquamouse adventure featuring villains will also premiere on the Destiny. Lastly, some returning offerings will make their way to the ship, including another Haunted Mansion parlor, 1923, Worlds of Marvel, and more. Bookings for the Disney Destiny will begin as early as September 6th for Pearl Castaway members, and the ship is set for its maiden voyage in December 2025. Already the most successful worldwide theatrical release of 2024, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2 is now the highest-grossing animated film of all time. The film surpassed Frozen 2 for the honor, with Walt Disney Animation sharing an illustration of Olaf, Anna, and Elsa passing the torch to anxiety and joy to mark the accomplishment. Meanwhile, Pixar's Twitter account shared a note from the film's director Kelsey Mann and producer Mark Nielsen. Currently, Inside Out 2 has made more than $1.5 billion in worldwide box office receipts. Charles, Oliver, and Mabel are inviting D23 Gold and General members to a special event at the El Capitan Theater celebrating the Season 4 premiere of Only Murders in the Building. This event includes an exclusive screening of the premiere episode, as well as photo opportunities, giveaways, and more special surprises. While this special event will take place on August 23rd, as you might expect, tickets are now sold out, but you can catch Season 4 of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu premiering August 27th. It's time to meet the Muppets, and it's time to light the way to help solve a major murder mystery in The Muppets Clue, due out later this year. Players will be able to join Muppets Kermit, Mayor Green, Fozzie, Colonel Mustard, and more as they put on a murder mystery show in Clue, The Muppets. Explore the Muppet Theater and track down clues leading to classic Muppet props to figure out who did it, where it happened, and what weapon was used. This special Muppets edition of the classic board game is set for release this fall and is currently listed at a retail price of $44.99. And now it's time to bring back Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com. Hey, Kyle.
Hey.
You're in a hotel room because you're at another con.
I am, but, by the time people hear this, I might be seeing you in person, and that's exciting.
It's true. You are headed to Anaheim. It is the week of D23, the ultimate Disney fan event. I still want to call it Expo. I still do call it Expo.
I think you're alone in that. I don't think everyone else is completely adapted to the new confusing naming, and there's absolutely no one except for you calling it Expo.
I hope all of the fans still use hashtag D23 Expo.
You know what? Honestly, we have decided as a unit that we will probably be using the hashtag still just because everyone else will be. So, don't try to correct it. Go ahead and try to correct us on X when we are tweeting D23 Expo, because that just increases our engagement.
Yeah, because what will the alternate be? Like hashtag D23 UDFE? UDFA? D23 UDFA.
I don't know. D23 seems to just be using hashtag D23. So, not my decision, man. I don't know.
All right, so D23 Expo it is. You heard it direct from Kyle Burbank's mouth at laughingplace.com. So there we go.
We'll probably be using both hashtag D23 and D23 Expo.
All right. Well, let's jump into some news, because after a long closure, the Haunted Mansion has reopened at Disneyland with virtual queue only in the form of Haunted Mansion Holiday. With it, we got some special Easter eggs that were quickly taken away from us. Of course, there's the new gingerbread house display. This changes every year. It's real gingerbread. This will be sticking around. Has a very Frankenstein monster look. I like the look of it a lot, but it didn't necessarily feel Nightmare Before Christmas to me. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I don't know if they necessarily make the gingerbread house to be, something with Nightmare Before Christmas. So I think it's cool that they keep updating it. I also kind of missed the days when you would just ride it and see it for the first time. But now, of course, they release a video or photos before you can even ride it for the day. So that's a little disappointing. But
well, because if they didn't, somebody else would. So, yeah.
Right.
I get it. But here's the really interesting thing. In the attic scene, not only were the pumpkin presents box updated, but a Jack-in-the-Box, more accurately a Jack Skellington in the box, was added. On the left of this, there seemed to be a depiction of the clown Jangles from Riley's Subconscious and Inside Out. And then on the right, the clown shown bared a suspicious likeness to Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. And this was there for, one day or something like that?
I think maybe more than one day. So when our person wrote it and took the pictures, I noticed the Krusty likeness, which I will say, it didn't look exactly like Krusty. They kind of, I think, intentionally kind of rounded the face and the jaw. But the hair and the bow tie was, we had a side-by-side of Krusty and this, and it's, you would have a hard time saying it's not, even though some people on our team tried. And then the other one, I didn't recognize at first, but of course we have a big Pixar fan, so he recognized that was from Inside Out. And these weren't just like, regular photos of these characters. They were kind of done up in the style of the clown that was there previously. Like I had one from last year where it's more generic clown, but in this style. So I do think they're trying to do an Easter egg. I don't know how far up the chain it got approved, and I'm thinking maybe it wasn't, because, like you said, now they've been taken away, as we kind of suspected once we pointed them out.
So did Laughing Place break that news?
I mean, I don't want to say we broke that news. I'm sure other people realized it too. We did ride somewhat early in the day. I'm sure other people noticed it too, but yes, I'd say we're probably pretty early in recognizing it on the first day.
Honestly, the thing I liked most was the Jack Skellington kind of figure that was jumping out of the box, because in that attraction, we really only get Jack in the cemetery. There's not a ton of other Jack Skellington representation in there.
Do they still have him in the stretching room at the top, or did they?
Oh, that's true. Of course, the stretching room. He's a part of that. I'm thinking in Once You're in the Doom Buggy.
No, I know.
Yeah, but you're right. He's in one of the paintings as Sandy Claus in the stretching room, and then of course the projection of him from above with a hanging man still in place. By the way, because we all know those rumors were swirling around that the hanging man in the attic was going to be removed, and at least for Haunted Mansion Holiday, which would have been the easier one to switch out in my opinion, I think the projection of that is still there. So perhaps those rumors weren't true. We'll find out once classic Haunted Mansion returns for sure.
They could still shorten it, because if you go to Magic Kingdom's version and then go on Disneyland's was still a lot longer.
You mean just seeing the
Magic Kingdom, it felt like it was like thunder and it was done.
Interesting. Yeah, so they removed this, and it's just funny because this is going to be the Hatbox Ghost in a few decades, where people are like, it existed. No, this never existed. Lucky for us, there's much more photo documentation of this stuff, so it'll be a bit less of a controversy, but still, it was there for a few days. Now it's gone, and I guess the theory is perhaps the fact that Universal owns the theme park's rights to The Simpsons, and maybe that's why they had to get rid of it.
That's my guess. As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, I feel like that's probably a problem with Universal. And as for why they would then cover up both of them, if they probably have no issue with the Inside Out, it would probably just look weird to have one be the face and then one be this kind of... They just covered up with like wrapping paper. Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll unveil it. Maybe they'll choose a generic clown for Krusty and then the Inside Out one will stay. We'll have to wait and see.
Is the Jack still popping out of the Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Okay.
All they did was just plaster some wrapping paper onto the front of it. In fact, I don't even know if they did all the sides, just the front.
So yeah, in any case, that was a fun little thing, and they're always adding little things to Haunted Mansion Holiday, I feel like, which is fun, and obviously it's a very popular attraction and overlay, so very cool, but if you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't, and who knows if you ever will again. But it happened. But let's move on to some Comic-Con news, because at San Diego Comic-Con, Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Victor Von Doom and the Russo brothers' Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Of course, Downey Jr. previously portrayed Tony Stark / Iron Man, the character that launched the MCU back in 2008. He made his final appearance as the character in 2019's Avengers Endgame. I know people are going to yell at me, but did he die? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he died.
He died. Okay. I assumed so. I was like, is there any chance of him coming back? Because I feel like there's always a chance of Iron Man coming back.
Well, especially with the multiverse, yeah.
Okay,
there could
so
be
maybe
other
not.
versions of Tony Stark that weren't from that world.
Okay. So yes, this was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. The crowd went wild. You know, there are many videos of that moment. They started chanting RDJ for Robert Downey Jr. and it was, you know, an explosion of excitement. But then beyond that, it was a little, I don't know, mixed reaction, I feel like. What do you think?
I mean, part of me still wonders if it's some sort of fake out. Like, they're very specific about him playing Victor Von Doom, so I wonder whether Victor Von Doom will be a smaller part than a different version of Doctor Doom, because, you know, we talk about how there is a multiverse and things like that. So I wonder how big of a role Robert will actually have. I'm excited that the Russos are coming back. I trust them, and I trust RDJ. So I'm down for the ride. You say the reaction was mixed. Well, that's because everybody has to have a hot take online. You can't just agree with each other. That's too easy.
Sure. I don't care because I don't care about the MCU. You know, for continuity's sake, it kind of bothers me just because I'm that way. But at the same time, I feel like the superhero world, you just have to let that go because these characters live on for decades and the actors are constantly replaced. Like for me, Batman is Michael Keaton, but how many actors have played him since then? You know, and even actors who I prefer. But I don't know, it's just the world of superheroes. So having him play a different role, I don't know enough about it to really have an opinion. Is it weird? Sure, I can see how it might be weird. But people love Robert Downey Jr. and the reaction in the room was pretty massive, is what it looked like. So there's that. Yeah.
And we're officially getting rid of Kang Dynasty. Was supposed to be the fifth Avengers film. Now it's going to be Doomsday. So that's good. Good to know where they're going because it was kind of up in the air there for a bit.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting things back on track, which is a good thing. And they also announced that the first Fantastic Four MCU entry will be titled The Fantastic Four First Steps. Pedro Pascal will play Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn, the Human Torch, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach. Am I saying that right? Do you know?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Well, let's pretend it's right, is playing The Thing. And additionally, the film will feature Julia Garner as alternate Silver Surfer, Ralph Ineson as Galactus, John Malkovich, and Natasha Lyonne. During the panel, it was revealed that Michael Giacchino will be taking the reins as the composer for the film, marking his return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's a great composer. And yeah, so Marvel had some exciting things to announce. Curious what will be announced at D23. I'm sure they saved something for D23. Who knows? Maybe it will be the reveal that was all a joke and Robert Downey Jr. is not Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe they're like, kind of remember when they announced Star Tours, The Adventures Continue, and they said that Rex was going to, or not Rex, whoever was going to be the pilot that we meet, the one that we see in the pre-show video.
Yes.
But then they're like, actually, C-3PO is going to be the one that's piloting on your ship, but because the actual Ace, maybe, I don't remember. But so they kind of did a tease like that, like, here's your pilot. Oh, wait, actually, C-3PO is going to be your pilot. So it could be something like that. Like, yes, he's playing Victor Von Doom, but the actual actor who's going to be playing the Doom that you see for the majority of the film is going to be this guy or this girl.
We shall soon find out, I guess. That would actually be really fun if they thought that far ahead and they're like, listen, Comic-Con and D23 are really close. We could have some fun here. I mean, it would piss off a lot of people, I feel like, so probably not the wisest choice. But it would be really interesting if somehow they connected the Comic-Con announcement with the D23 one.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I do agree that people might take some issue with it. But 2 years to heal the wounds is fine.
Yeah. Also at Comic-Con, Deadpool and Wolverine had a drone show that it was a complete surprise to people. It was held over Petco Park facing the San Diego Convention Center. And as crowds poured out of the Comic-Con screening of Deadpool and Wolverine on release night, they got to see this. Attendees included stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and the extended cast. And there was a 700-foot tall Deadpool in the skies above San Diego. The Deadpool drone show was a massive surprise, as I said, and the evening was marked by Marvel setting a Guinness World Record for the quote, here we go, largest aerial display of a fictional character formed by multi-rotors / drones. Okay, Kyle, I'm sure you remember a couple weeks ago we talked about a similar, if not same, record being broken by Disneyland Paris with their drone of Mickey Mouse. So please, do you have that information in front of you? What was the verbiage?
That was, okay, first of all, it was 1,571 drones, and they created, quote, the largest aerial display of a fictional character formed by multi-rotors / drones.
Okay, it's literally the same exact wording. So the record for Disneyland Paris has already been broken, and Marvel broke this title twice. What was that? Oh, slashed like Wolverine. Very cute, Kyle. Marvel actually broke this title twice in the same show. The first formation featured Deadpool, consisting of 1,599 drones. How many did you say Paris had? Like 1,570?
1,571.
1,571. So 1,599 for Deadpool. And that set a new benchmark. But then, in a playful twist befitting the character, the record was broken again with Wolverine's formation using 1,607 drones. The show concluded with a surprising teaser for the Fantastic Four, where Sky Elements deployed their brand new Pyro drones. Pyro ripped through the sky, creating a flaming 4 in the sky with 300 Pyro modules. The 4 made history as the largest Pyro drone display in the Americas. So, lots of records. I think it's funny that the Paris one's already been broken. Good thing they don't print these things in books anymore, or else they'd have to, oh gosh, go back to the printer. And yeah, this is funny. I hope that when they're creating these massive shows, they're not just like, use as many drones as you can to break a record, as opposed to use as many drones as you need to create the show we're trying to create, because it's a little silly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe there's other outlets. They're like, oh, well, since this broke a record, we'll write about it. But like, come on, we're suckers. We'll write about it anyway. Like, we saw it. We got to take our own video of it, so we were going to write about it. Now, you don't need to say you broke a record just to get us to spill some ink for you.
I mean, it was an impressive show from the little... I did not see it in person, but the video and photos I've seen, I was like, wow. I mean, drones... And one of the things I did notice was we seem to be getting some speed with drones. They used to be everything was very slow motion. We're starting to get some speed in there, and that was kind of the next step for me. I was like, it's looking a little 8-bit, and it's progressing quickly, is what I'll say, and I love it. And yay, drones! And by the way, drones in Southern California, just not Disneyland Resort.
Of course. I will also say, outside of drones, though, I did see another article this week after we were complaining about Guinness World Records. And I saw another article that I won't spoil Deadpool and Wolverine, but it involved something from that movie that they said set 2 Guinness World Records. I'm like, for a movie, stop it. Like, this is so stupid. So yes, I'm completely with you, Jeff. Guinness World Records have completely, I don't know if they were ever real. My entire life, I've, held them in high regard, and it completely tarnished.
I'm thinking, though, it might be a goal now to break some Guinness World Record in the most ridiculous way possible.
The most Hocus Pocus fans gathered in a place where they shot the exterior for a film in Salem, Massachusetts in 2024. Done. World record. Calling it.
I got to get an official representative there from Guinness and make that happen. But yeah, it's kind of wild. It makes you think maybe they're just drinking a lot of Guinness before they even think about these things. And it's wild. But speaking of Comic-Con, I do want to mention the panel I moderated, Illustrating Disney Magic, was so much fun. We had an awesome crowd in the house. Mike Celestino from Laughing Place was there. It was so nice to see his face sitting in the crowd. And it was a really, really fun bunch of people in a pretty full room. So I was thrilled and delighted to take part in that before, by the way, Kyle, 4 hours to drive to San Diego, which should have been 2 hours. Took me 4 hours. And then heading back to Burbank was 3 hours the next day. And then I had to get to Long Beach for a weekend at Midsummer Scream. So it was a wild convention weekend.
It's so brutal. Though I will say, I think I might have mentioned this before, but the one time I went to Comic-Con, I was living in Rancho Cucamonga, and my friend gave me last-minute tickets, and he was supposed to go. We were supposed to have a hotel room. But then he bailed, so I didn't have a hotel room, so I drove from Rancho Cucamonga down to San Diego and back each day.
That's pretty rough, and that is commitment, but yikes. And by the way, folks, if you didn't hear that Illustrating Disney Magic panel live from Comic-Con, it was last week's episode of Disney Coast to Coast, so check that out. It was fun. Anything else about Comic-Con you want to add?
No, but I think it's crazy that they went from Comic-Con to then I'm at Gen Con right now, which doesn't really have anything to do with the same thing, but I am here. And then D23. Just so many conventions all in a row.
It's a lot of conventions. But let's continue talking about Deadpool, because why not? Because the hilarious new limited time Story Time with Deadpool show has debuted at Disney California Adventure. From his favorite cozy reading chair, guests can join Deadpool as he reads from his big book of super special stories. These family-friendly tales delight, charm, and inspire in the way only Deadpool can. The show kicks off in a hilarious and meta fashion as Deadpool walks out to an instrumental version of When You Wish Upon a Star. He tells the story of Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella. These are 2 different shows before being joined by Wolverine. And guests can now catch the show daily at the Hyperion Theater courtyard just outside of Avengers Campus. There is some really fun meta stuff. I've seen pieces of it, and there's comments about The Greatest Showman when talking to Wolverine, which of course is a movie that Hugh Jackman starred in. And yeah, it's fun. And I know a lot of kind of like hullabaloo was made when an R-rated character is now a character in a Disney theme park.
Yeah, and there's actually some different versions so that's what we saw on the first day, but since then we've noticed on it when Wolverine had a day off, there was a solo Deadpool show. I think he does one about like Little Red Riding Hood. And we've also seen him update his jokes. Like the weekend after Comic-Con, Mike was there and he was making jokes about Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. So people are comparing this Deadpool to Genie from Aladdin: A Musical Spectacular, which took place inside of the Hyperion. So yeah, I think it's been pretty well received. There have been a couple of jokes that people have, maybe not from this show, but from his appearances in Avengers Campus, where he's made some jokes that people thought were borderline, maybe even a little bit over the border for some people, but definitely at most a PG-13, not being his R-rated self from the movies. So I think it's been pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see how long he sticks around for, but so far, well received by the park-going public.
Very cool. And they did a really fun photo shoot of him running around Disney California Adventure to kind of announce his appearance in the park. He was just bouncing around from, Pixar Pier to Animation Academy, and it was a fun thing. I mean, it's a fun character. I say this as someone who's never seen any of the films, but I know Ryan Reynolds' work. He's fun. He's awesome. Let me ask you this, Kyle. As someone who has never seen a Wolverine or Deadpool movie, if I were to go see this new movie, how confused would I be? Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I don't think you'd be terribly confused because you get the idea of the character. And
I actually don't. I have no idea what the concept is. I just know he's funny.
No, but I just mean you understand his type of humor.
Yes. What do you think? I'd like it?
I don't know. It's got a lot of cartoony, I guess cartoony violence, but still in a gross way. It's just not realistic.
The deciding factor really is what's the runtime. Because if we're doing 3 hours, no.
I don't think it's 3 hours. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. But yeah, it's just a bunch of referential humor. There's a part where he says that Wolverine will do the entire second act of The Music Man if they things don't go as well. So you get that stuff more than you would the Marvel stuff probably.
Maybe. I actually, to go off topic a little bit, although it does tie to Disney if you think about it, because Disney legend Hayley Mills is in a movie right now. Are you aware of this?
I know about which movie. Yeah, Miss Bliss herself is in
Miss Bliss. Man, you are old. Miss Bliss. For anybody that gets that, you're old as well, and I get it, so there we go. But no, Hayley Mills, of course known from The Parent Trap for Disney, is starring in Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, which, here we go, deep cut for longtime DCTC listeners. I went and saw it with Patrick this past weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I know it's people are not loving it, and I am not an M. Night Shyamalan lover. Of course, Sixth Sense is brilliant, but other than that, I'm his ego kind of rubs me the wrong way. But ever since I saw this trailer for Trap, I was like, this is a great concept. Josh Hartnett honestly looks better than ever, and his performance is really good. And it was just a really fun movie, in my opinion. So if you want to go see Disney legend Hayley Mills in a movie, go see Trap. I think it was fun. A lot of people disagree with me, but there's that. And I guess I got to go see Wolverine and Deadpool.
Deadpool and Wolverine, but yes.
Whatever. Same difference. That's a tangent for you. And to go back to the whole Deadpool show at Disney California Adventure, I'm calling it right now. One of these days, Ryan Reynolds is going to show up in that suit. I don't know how long it's running.
That movie needs more promotion. Maybe after arrival on Disney Plus.
I do feel like it would have maybe happened by now already, but he just seems like such a fun guy. Doesn't everybody want to be Ryan Reynolds' friend? He just seems like the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah. And he's got his own gin, and you can get phone service from him.
And a soccer team. Oh, yeah, he did a commercial with Rick Moranis. So, yeah, I definitely want to be his friend.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot he was in that Mint commercial. But yes, Ryan Reynolds is co-owner of a football team.
Oh, football. That's right, because it's overseas. It's soccer, but it's football. Even I know that. I watch my Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso. Let's bring back Ted Lasso. Anywho, I got to touch on something that I'm going to assume you're aware of, Kyle. Did you see that Ichabod Crane is making a quote-unquote appearance at Magic Kingdom?
So I did hear about this. Unfortunately, trying to video this in the daytime is quite a task. So I have not seen it first. Well, I guess secondhand from our team, but
yeah. But from what I understand, it only happens at night, I think. But Ichabod Crane, in the form of a silhouette, is seen on the second story of Ye Old Christmas Shop in Liberty Square, right across from the Sleepy Hollow food window. And every few minutes, the light will turn on in the window, and you see a silhouette of Ichabod Crane from the Sleepy Hollow story and the adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. And he's either reading a book or lighting a candle or drinking tea or whatever. I just love this. There's no reason for it, right? It's not Halloween season. And maybe it's an anniversary of the film, I don't know. And there was no press release about this, I don't believe. And is this thing. And God, I love when these little things just happen. And somebody in Imagineering was like, it would be cool. It would be cool if. And then they get the budget to do it. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the Carousel of Progress randomly got like new clothes for in the final scene or whatever. You're like, well, I wish for more, but I appreciate that you did something for no reason.
I want a panel at D23 that is just like all about the most random little things that they could keep secret and just surprised guests with. That's what I want.
That'd be cool. I think they could have that realistically. Of course, with your luck, it'll be one of the panels that they put counter-programming the Honda Center.
Too late for this year, but it would be fun at some future year. I really do love those little touches. I thought it was so much fun. And of course, it's got a Halloween sort of tie-in, so that makes me happy. But beyond that, let's just talk about the fact that D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, is this week, and we should be getting a lot of Disney news from there to share. Kyle, you will be there representing Laughing Place.
I will. Well, first of all, I have to mention, Laughing Place is celebrating its 25th anniversary. On August 1st, 1999, the site launched. Wow. So you'll notice we have a new logo. It's pink. It's got some cake elements to it. And
brilliant. Who came up with that?
I don't remember, honestly. We were discussing. We're like, oh my gosh, 25 years is coming up. We'll have to like do a special logo, and decided to make it a castle cake logo.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, so we'll have our booth. We'll be giving away prizes, and fans, special 25th anniversary fans, hot commodity as they have been in past years.
I was going to specifically ask if you had the fans returning. Guys, swing by the Laughing Place booth for these fans. I kid you not. They're these portable little, handheld fan yourself sort of fans, but they're great. I actually keep it in my drawstring backpack and just like my theme park backpack. It's great little tool. I use it all the time. So highly recommend. Do you know your booth number or basic location?
So we are booth number 500 in the D23 Emporium section, which I think is going to be next to the AT&T Oasis. So I don't exactly know where in the Emporium booth 500 is, but we'll be there.
Great. So folks, go visit Kyle because he's stuck there all weekend. I will go bother him when I have stuff to drop off and say, hey, I don't want to carry this all day. Although that shouldn't really
give that away. People are going to try to pull that one on me. I have to know you.
No. Listen, I was going to say,
TSA rules.
That's a Jeff DePauli privilege. That's not for anyone to do. But to be fair, I don't think that'll be happening this year because the giveaways will be at Honda. So it probably won't be so much at the convention itself. But I also want to mention that courtesy of Disney Coast to Coast, you can pick up your free Haunted Mansion wristbands at the Laughing Place booth. They'll be giving those away on behalf of me. So thank you, Kyle. And yeah, definitely go visit Kyle because Kyle's a cool guy, man.
I'll probably be there most of the weekend, except I think I have to go to the Lorcana panel as the designated Disney Lorcana person. But other than that, all booth all the weekend.
I didn't realize you were the designated Lorcana person.
Yeah, it's because I covered Gen Con last year when it debuted because I live in the Midwest. And so then by covering that, I became the Lorcana person, even though I am not very good at the game.
All right, fair enough. Well, there's that. I also want to mention that, folks, if you go way back, you might remember on episode 535 of Disney Coast to Coast, I spoke with Marco, my buddy Marco, who owns the Pizza Planet truck, which you might have seen in the Disney Plus series Pixar in Real Life. Well, the Pizza Planet truck had been away for a year because he loaned it to the National Automobile Museum in Reno, Nevada. But now it's back, and the truck is returned just in time to be put on display at D23 2024. And so go check it out on the show floor. Check out the Pizza Planet truck at D23, the ultimate Disney fan event.
I mean, it sounds good when you read it like that. It's just not very convenient for hashtags or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. And before we leave, folks, I just want to remind you all that tickets are now on sale for I Put a Spell on You Masquerade, taking place in Salem, Massachusetts on Friday, September 20th, 2024. We are recreating a 2024 version of the iconic I Put a Spell on You party scene in Salem, in the building that they use as the exterior in the film Hocus Pocus.
And setting a world record in the process.
And setting a world record in the process. Tickets are now on sale at tinyurl.com/Salem Party 2024. So go check that out. There's an early bird price right now, as well as an additional one-of-a-kind gift. We're giving away these really nice prints of it's a sketch that was created as part of pre-production of that scene, and it's being individually signed by the original artist. So you can get those with your early bird tickets or your VIP tickets. So check it out now while it's still early bird time. tinyurl.com/Salem Party 2024. Anything else you want to add, Kyle?
I don't think so. Come see me at the expo. That's not an expo.
I'll see you at Expo, Kyle.
Looking forward to it. We're all going to be exhausted together. It's going to be fantastic.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think about Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app, where episodes are available 24/7. This episode has been executive produced by Jeffrey Riccio. Gain rewards like Jeffrey, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live stream Ask Me Anythings, by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. Thanks to AJ Larson for leaving a 5-star rating and review saying, DCTC is one of my all-time favorite podcasts. The show helps me keep up with what's going on in the parks outside of California, which I don't always have the time to follow on my own. They've done some fantastic interviews which cover a great blend of guests' personal information and professional experience. Whatever kind of Disney fan you are, Disney Coast to Coast will have something to offer you. Episodes are released consistently, and it's great to be able to look forward to new episodes each week. Leave a review wherever you listen to the podcast, and you may just hear it read on a future episode. Until next time, anything you need can be found in this episode's description. From additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, contact info to reach me, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!